there is a pattern running your life right now. You did not choose it, yet it shapes every decision you make. Carl Jung called this pattern your dominant archetype. It is the deepest blueprint of who you are. Most adults live their entire lives never identifying it. They feel pulled. They feel called. They never know why. Today, you will understand the 12 archetypes living inside the human psyche, and you will identify yours. By the end of this video, you will recognize your dominant archetype in the smallest moments of your daily life. Jung discovered that human beings do not invent their personalities. We inherit them from the collective unconscious. This is the shared psychological inheritance of all humanity. Inside it live universal patterns Jung called archetypes. An archetype is not a personality type. It is a deep energetic pattern. It moves through you before thought arrives. You did not pick your archetype. It picked you. The work of life is learning which one you are carrying. Every culture across history has recognized these patterns. They appear in myths. They appear in dreams. They appear in dreams. Jung identified 12 primary archetypes that organize human experience. Each one carries gifts. Each one carries shadow. You contain all 12 in some measure. But one is dominant. One drives the deepest layer of your behavior. Recognizing it changes everything. Suddenly, your strange preferences make sense. Your repeated patterns reveal their source. Before we go further, picture this. You walk in through a room of strangers. Within minutes, you behave a specific way. You either lead, you either observe, you either entertain, you either rescue. That instinct is your archetype speaking. Let us walk through the 12. Listen for the one that makes your chest tighten with recognition. The first is the ruler. This archetype seeks order. They organize chaos without being asked. They take charge instinctively. If you find yourself making plans for groups, correcting structures, or feeling responsible for outcomes, the ruler lives in you. The second is the hero. This archetype seeks challenge. They prove themselves through action. They cannot rest while problems remain. If you constantly take on difficult tasks, push past limits, and feel alive only in struggle, the hero drives you. The third is the sage. This archetype seeks truth. They study, they observe. They cannot tolerate shallow understanding. If you read constantly, question everything, and need to understand before acting, the sage is your foundation. The fourth is the caregiver. This archetype seeks to nurture. They sense others' needs before their own. They give without limit. If you find yourself drained by service, attracting people in pain, and unable to receive, the caregiver runs you. The fifth is the creator. This archetype seeks expression. They must make things. They suffer when their hands are idle. If you build, design, write, or compose constantly and feel sick when nothing flows, you carry the creator. The sixth is the rebel. This archetype seeks freedom. They resist authority instinctively. They cannot follow what feels false. If you question every rule, leave systems that constrain you, and walk away from comfortable cages, the rebel is yours. Stay with me here. The next 6 archetypes are quieter, but they may be the one you have been searching for. The seventh is the lover. This archetype seeks connection. They live for intimacy. They feel everything at full volume. If your deepest pain is loneliness, and your deepest joy is union, the lover archetype is dominant in you. The eighth is the explorer. This archetype seeks the unknown. They cannot stay still. They are restless even at home. If you travel constantly, change jobs often, and feel suffocated by routine, the explorer is the engine inside you. The ninth is the magician. This archetype seeks transformation. They study hidden patterns. They believe inner change creates outer change. If you are drawn to psychology, ritual, healing, or the unseen, the magician moves through your psyche. The 10th is the jester. This archetype seeks lightness. They puncture seriousness. They use humor to reveal truth. If you cannot sit in heavy energy without making a joke and use laughter as medicine, the jester is dominant. The 11th is the innocent. This archetype seeks goodness. They believe in human kindness. They protect their faith carefully. If you keep believing in people despite evidence and refuse to become cynical, the innocent lives in you strongly. The 12th is the everyman. This archetype seeks belonging. They want to fit in. They distrust those who stand apart. If you feel safest in groups, dislike attention, and value connection over distinction, the everyman is your core. Now comes the harder work, recognizing your archetype in daily life, not in theory, in your actual hours. Jung said the unconscious speaks through small choices. Your archetype shows itself in what you do without thinking. This is the part most modern personality tests never reach. They measure traits. They miss the deeper current beneath. Watch yourself for 1 week. Notice the moment you walk into any room. What do you do first? A ruler scans for structure. A hero scans for problems. A caregiver scans for who needs help. A rebel scans for falseness. A sage scans for information. A creator scans for beauty. A lover scans for connection. An explorer scans for exit. A magician scans for hidden currents. A jester scans for absurdity. An innocent scans for goodness. An everyman scans for belonging. Your first instinct in any room is the signature of your dominant archetype. Watch it without judgment. This instinct happens faster than thought. It happens before the social mask arrives. It is purely archetypal. Notice your default response to stress. Each archetype copes differently. This is one of the clearest signals you will find. The ruler under stress becomes controlling. The hero pushes harder. The sage withdraws to study. The caregiver overgives. The creator must make something. The rebel destroys structure. The lover needs intimate contact. The explorer flees. The magician seeks deeper understanding. The jester deflects with humor. The innocent denies the problem. The everyman seeks group support. Notice which of these you do when life pressures you. That coping pattern is archetype-shaped, not just personality. Stress strips away the persona. What remains underneath is your archetype operating in its rawest form. Comment below right now. Drop one word that names the archetype you suspect lives inside you. Just one word. Share what your dominant archetype keeps trying to express through you. Let the channel see itself in your words. Now return to the inquiry, because the next signal is even more revealing than your stress response. Notice what drains you. Each archetype has tasks that exhaust them faster than logic would suggest. A ruler is drained by chaos. A hero is drained by inaction. A sage is drained by shallow conversation. A caregiver is drained by ingratitude. A creator is drained by saneness. A rebel is drained by enforced rules. A lover is drained by emotional distance. An explorer is drained by routine. A magician is drained by service living. A jester is drained by humorless people. An innocent is drained by cynicism. And every man is drained by exclusion. What drains you reveals your archetypal core. If you have ever wondered why a task that energizes others exhausts you, this is the answer Jung was pointing toward. There's one more layer, the clearest mirror of all. Notice what you cannot stop doing even when tired. Your archetype keeps acting even when your body is exhausted. It is below willpower. It runs on its own current. If you keep organizing past exhaustion, you are a ruler. If you keep helping past depletion, you are a caregiver. If you keep creating past midnight, you are a creator. If you keep questioning past comfort, you are a sage. The behavior you cannot stop is the archetype you cannot escape. It is the deepest signature you carry. Carl Jung wrote that the archetype lives us before we live it. It moves through us as instinct, not decision. Now we arrive at the application. Tonight you will use a simple method to confirm your dominant archetype. Sit with paper for 10 minutes. Write down the last 5 times you felt fully alive, not happy, alive. Look at the pattern. Were you leading? Were you discovering? Were you creating? Were you healing someone? The thread running through those 5 moments is your dominant archetype expressing itself fully. Then write the last 5 times you felt dead inside, not sad, dead, as if you were not there. Those moments are when your archetype was suppressed, when you were performing a role not assigned to you. The contrast between aliveness and deadness is the clearest path to recognizing your dominant archetype. Do not trust what you say you want. Trust the moments your body said yes without your permission. This is the work Jung called individuation, the lifelong process of becoming who you truly are. Not who your parents wanted, not who culture rewarded, the archetype that lives at the center of your psyche. When you live aligned with your dominant archetype, energy returns, decisions become simpler, resistance softens. When you live against it, exhaustion is constant. Nothing fits. You feel like a stranger inside your own life. Most adults are exhausted not from work, but from performing an archetype that is not theirs. The ruler trying to be a caregiver, the rebel trying to be an everyman, the sage trying to be a hero. This is the quiet tragedy Jung witnessed in his patients. Lives spent serving the wrong archetypal pattern. The remedy is not dramatic. It begins with one honest observation. What am I beneath what I've been told to be? Carl Jung wrote that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. He meant this exactly. Your dominant archetype is not a label. It is the gravitational center of your becoming. When you recognize it, you stop fighting yourself. You stop trying to be all 12 at once. You let the dominant one lead. The others support. The wholeness of your psyche organizes itself around truth. This is integration. This is the Jungian way, not adding more to yourself, recognizing what was already there. Tonight, do the practice. 5 moments of aliveness, 5 moments of deadness. Let the pattern reveal itself. Then live for 1 week as that archetype, consciously. Notice how exhaustion shifts. Notice how decisions clarify. You are not meant to be everything. You are meant to be one specific thing, beautifully, deeply, completely. Your dominant archetype is the answer to a question you have been asking your whole life without words. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your messenger. Your archetype is not your cage. It is your gold. The work is to listen, to watch yourself for 1 honest week, to meet the pattern that has been waiting. If this gave you a name for what you have always felt, subscribe to the Archetype code and stay with the work. You are not your role. You are not your performance. You are the archetype trying to live through you fully. Welcome to the path of becoming who you have always been.